North Carolina. Mr. McHenry, the sponsor of the legislation, for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly appreciate your leadership. Thank you for having this markup today. And today's early stage companies are the source for American innovation, economic growth, and jobs. But fundamentally, funding these early stage companies remains a major challenge. Investing in startup companies is inherently risky, which is why many investors who qualify to become angel investors often shy away from it. This is a major hurdle facing small and early stage businesses that are struggling to find capital, particularly in parts of the country like my district in western North Carolina. If you're in Austin, Boston, Silicon Valley, your access to capital is unrivaled in the world. If you're in the rest of the country, we have an enormous challenge to meet these demands. Folks in my district in small counties have actually lost more businesses than they have created in recent years. Small counties like those that I represent in western North Carolina are disproportionately impacted. And so we have to do everything we can here in Washington to reverse this trend. That's why addressing the challenges facing angel investing is a great first step. This can be accomplished by changing our mindset and creating a regulatory framework that encourages innovation and growth while also ensuring that shareholder and investor protections remain strong. This bill does that. While the Jobs Act lifted the shareholder limit to 2,000, it left in place the 100 investor limit for angel investment funds. As a result, many investors who want to become angels are excluded from investing, and many early stage companies fail to acquire the capital they need to get off the ground. To address this problem, Representative Velasquez and I joined together in reintroducing this bill I filed last Congress that amends the Investment Company Act of 1940 by increasing the investor limitation from 100 to 250 for qualifying venture funds, which are narrowly tailored for early stage investing. Our bill would open up angel investing to more accredited investors, allow for early stage companies to raise capital they need to grow and create jobs. After all, that's why we're here, isn't it? I also am pleased that companion legislation has been introduced and was marked up and voice voted out of the Senate Banking Committee this morning with the co-sponsorship of Senator Heller and Senator Heitkamp. My hope is that with their efforts combined with ours here today, this important legislation can become law. The bottom line is that this legislation is a sensible way to get more capital to startups and small businesses. It will allow for asset diversification for angel investors, more access to capital for companies, and ultimately more good-paying jobs. I'd like to thank the Chairman, Chairman Henseling, Ranking Member Waters, Representative Velasquez, and all the committee staff on both sides of the aisle for working hard on this bipartisan bicameral legislation. We'd like to see it done today. I thank you for your support, and I yield back the balance.
Would you yield to the Chair?
Be very happy to yield to the Chairman.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. I just want to thank the gentleman for his leadership, and the gentlelady from New York as well, working on a bipartisan basis. Again, we know that entrepreneurship is at a generational low. This is a bill that will raise a threshold that hasn't been raised since the time that before most of us were born. It needs to be increased. It's a very important piece of legislation, and I hope that all members will join in supporting this piece of legislation. I yield back to the gentleman, and the gentleman yields.
And I yield back.